So this is not a question, but an observation about our family. So as a result of a COVID-19 scenario, my wife and I have had to role reverse. I was working at the factory and coming home, and she was doing the homeschooling and the parenting and doing her part-time work from home. And then the factory where I was working had to close temporarily, and she had to obligate herself to high volume amount of work, which put her away in the home office and put me downstairs with the kids to do the homeschooling and the parenting and the diapers and the lunches and all those things. And I have been overwhelmed by how challenging it is, how hard it is to keep my cool, to stay present, to be patient with the kids. And mostly, it has been alarming how all the issues I had with her approach towards parenting, getting frustrated, feeding them carbohydrates, letting them watch TV shows, and all of it, not having a schedule. And then I found myself doing exactly the same things that I was opposed to. You just can't tell someone else how to live when you're not exposed to their specific set of factors. What sort of rules did we have? I think I had rules about schedules, and she had her own different rules about schedules that I didn't care to honor. Nap time schedules, bedtime schedules that made kids harder to deal with. They're not getting enough sleep. They can be cranky and hard to cooperate, find it hard to cooperate. She would get very frustrated with kids that swarmed her, 3 kids swarming and dogs swarming at the same time, and get overwhelmed. And I say, why do you care? Why do you care? And now, boy, I get so overwhelmed. There's 3 kids, 2 of them are toddlers. I understand about half of what they're saying. They approach me at the same time that not only do they want to play, but they want snacks, and they want different snacks, and they want juice. So I start to get out the juice process, and not that juice, the different juice and the ice. But they don't want me to get the ice, they want to get the ice themselves. And I can't understand them, and they're all fighting for my attention. I'm overwhelmed, and next thing, enough. Everyone's grounded for life. And I am frustrated, and they have done nothing wrong. They have asked me for juice, and they're asking me to play with a game. And I'm trying to be a good parent. I'm trying to honor them, and I'm trying to play this game. But they all want a different game, and now they're fighting. And I can't understand what they're wanting. And they're talking at the same time. And they're telling me all the rules for their own individual games. And I am so frustrated that now I'm yelling. And I'm yelling because I was trying to be a good parent and accommodate them. And now I feel like a monster. And so I understand when sometimes my wife says, I don't play games. I don't play games with kids. You play by yourself. And to me, that sounded very cold. And she doesn't do it all the time, but just sometimes you have to draw a line and say, I know my limits. And now I get it. And just before the COVID-19, I had written Timothy Conway, who's a spiritual person I really appreciate. And I said, I know that it's all fine, and that everything is an expression of the divine. Like, I know that. But in my day, I forget it. And I'm so constantly convinced over and over that these things are very serious. It's kind of like wearing contacts. If I ask you, do you wear contact lenses? You wouldn't say, I don't remember. Let me think about it. You never forget that you wear contacts, but all day long you will forget that you wear contacts. You'll forget that you're wearing contacts. You never forget it, and yet all day long you will forget it. And that's what it's like for me too. I know that everything is the divine. I know that everything in my life that is directed towards me is part of my spiritual growth, part of my reconnecting, and it's part of my spiritual path that I asked for, that I'm working towards, and yet I forget. And I get so frustrated. And all I can do now is just go to Catherine and say, I am so sorry. I had no idea. It is very rare that a husband and wife will have the opportunity to trade roles. Usually you've got this mortgage, and whoever makes the most money has to do it, and they have to keep doing it, and you kind of have to stick to your routine. You don't really have the opportunity to see what the other person is doing and the challenges that they face. And I have had rules about watching TV and feeding them carbs, and now every day they get fruit, carbohydrate lunch, cheese, crackers, all the kind of things that I said you can't do, and I do it. And Catherine said, I said, why do you feed them this junk? Goldfish it's not even real food. And she says, well, at least they're eating something. And now I do the same thing. Or I could dirty 5 different pans and all the knives and make them stir fry, and then they'll feed it to the dog and drop it. They'll sit there and get cold, and then I'm holding the plates, and I have to decide whether I'm going to scrape this into the trash can or force feed myself so it's not wasted. Or I can make them a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and be done with it. I dirty 1 plate and 1 spoon. So please, let's try to be compassionate with our partners. Let's try to give them the benefit of the doubt. And fortunately, my wife is very cool, and she doesn't beat me over the head with all the things that I've done wrong. I have a tendency to say that I told you so. And she does not have that tendency. I go to her and I say, it was an awful day. They all talked at the same time, and everyone yelled at me, and they don't respect me. And it was very hard for me. And she'll sit there and cry with me instead of laughing at me and saying, I told you so. And she'll just cry because she understands, she gets it, she's been there. And there is no shortage of couples who just don't understand what the other person is going through. She does not understand what it's like to work in the factory, to be up at 4:15 in the morning and push my bedtime back to spend some time with the kids at night, and why I fall asleep when I do in the middle of the show. She doesn't understand it. And I didn't understand how hard it was to be with kids. I was like, why are you upset with a 3-year-old? It doesn't make any sense, but I get it now. When you go to work at the factory, there is structure in place. You have to be there at a certain time every day, and they reward you for being on time every day. You're rewarded with more work. It is very hard work. You have a quota, you've got a deadline, you have to be here, and you have to play by the rules, and there's a schedule, and someone is watching over my shoulder and expecting hourly for me to meet make certain goals. And that is very hard. And I think that they're just home watching TV and doing it and taking naps, and I'm the one who's got it so hard because I never get a break. I work all day, and then I go home, and then I have to be an elephant, and all the kids are riding on my back, and it's hard work. And then I've got to start doing the lawn. And no one else wants to smush the spiders. They want me to smush all the spiders, and I don't agree with smushing spiders. And so that is my hard job that no one understands. But when you go to the factory, that structure is predictability. And you can be calm because you know the rules, and there are people who are playing by the rules, and if you don't play by the rules, they kick you out and they replace you with someone who will play by the rules. And so even though it is harder work, mentally you have this freedom about leaving the house and going to a place with structure and schedule. And then when you're here, you can't make the kids go to sleep. You can put them in bed. You can't make them sleep. You can't make them nap. You can't make them eat their food. You can't make them not hit each other in the face with rocks. You hit her in the face with a rock for 4 days in a row. Where are you getting these rocks? Oh, you got them down? You got the rock down and you didn't put it up like you're supposed to. Now for the 4th day in a row, he's hitting you in the face with a rock. And it's chaos. It's total insanity because they're not adults. I'm used to structure, and there's no structure in a kid's world they are so present, and their rules don't mean the same thing. They don't grasp this stuff that we cling to, that we need. So we have to occupy 2 worlds, the world of responsibility. You have to be there to pay the bills and deal with the collectors and the telemarketers, but you also have to be patient with these people who are little people. And it is hard wearing 2 hats. It is so hard. So please, if you're being hard on your partner, try to take it easy. Try to hear your partner. If you can't role swap, have some intimate one-on-ones. Try to trade some chores when you can. One of Timothy Conway's exercises was to close your eyes. Just be in the other room for a few minutes and close your eyes and try to be in that person, like being John Malkovich. Just try to be that person. And every time they sit down and the kid comes running up and asking for a juice, I just sat down, and all the reaction, and oh, I peed on the floor. What? You're all pooping at the same time? How are you all pooping at the same time? I needed to finish my phone call. I just need to finish reading this paragraph, and no one will give me when you're, and then you will find that your tendencies will probably be very similar to the tendencies that you despise in your partner. So we cannot be, we just cannot, the walk a mile in someone else's moccasins thing, it's still relevant. And we forget about it, and we make rules, and we say, this is the right way to be, and if you don't play by the rules, then you're out. And it's just not that clear cut. It's not clear cut to have an out. When I'm coming home from the factory, and it doesn't seem like it's free time because I'm driving and I'm merging and I'm trying not to get run over, and I'm about to miss my exit and I need to stop for groceries and stuff. But I remember, I'll take the long way. Let me take the scenic route today. Let me stop real quick and see if they have a new shipment of baseball cards at the hobby shop, right? And now, Catherine's gone for 2 hours. I'm like, God, is it 5 o'clock yet? Where is she? Where is she? I can't take it. Where's my helper? And I sound just like her. No, I can't emphasize it enough. So this has been a real eye-opener. This is for all the people who are staying home and making this thing work. Unappreciated. Your teachers, your nannies, your chefs, and you're stressed out and you're pulling your hair out. And I really had no idea. And it's very easy to me to be Mr. Spiritual, Mr. Happy, the parent that everybody loves, when I'm gone from the chaos all day and I come home tired, but not stressed in a parenting stress kind of way. So let's try to be supportive. Let's try to be understanding and supportive. And we'll stop there. Thank you.